Today I'm gonna be talking to you guys about some camera gear in my arsenal that I can't live without. Now, these are products that don't necessarily warrant their own review. However, I do want to talk to you guys about what I love about these products and why I use them on an almost daily basis. But before we do that, if you are new to the channel, my name is Joe and I run a video production company by the name of Driven Films. And on this channel, you could find unbiased, to the point, and honest reviews of camera gear that I use out in the field. If that's something you're looking for and something you'd like, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more videos just like this one right here. Now, first up, we're gonna be talking about the piece of gear that I use pretty much day in, day out. I use it on every single shoot that I go on for the most part. And that is the Sachtler Flowtech 75 tripod legs. And you'll see here that I do have the Sachtler FSB forehead. Now this is a 75mm tripod for a bull head, and the standout feature of this tripod is that it does not have multiple sections of legs that you have to unlock. You simply unlatch, and we're gonna show you right here. We're gonna open it up, and it might get a little loud, but you simply open the latch and we are completely extended here. And this is not the full height, it actually will go higher. And as you can see here, I have the tripod head here, and you simply, it's a bull head, so you can simply adjust it if needed. And like I said, you have simply raised or lowered the tripod with 3 simple levers. And we're gonna drop it down. And as you can see, I didn't have to bend down too far, so it helps save your back over time. Now, these are carbon fiber legs, and it's a 3-piece leg, but as you can see here, it folds up very compact. And when it's completely collapsed, it's a pretty, I would call it a pretty compact tripod for what it is. And this is a video tripod. So when you are buying a tripod for a heavier camera system, you do want to have something that is very stable and secure. And when buying tripods, you need to consider that you are buying something that you're going to use fairly often and you don't want to skimp out on it. If you take care of your tripods, they can last you a full career. So here is the Sachtler Flowtech 75, and it is mostly carbon fiber aside from the neck and the head, which is not necessarily included. You can get it in a package. So I'm gonna put this off to the side here. And we're gonna talk about the next piece of gear, and that is the Zoom F6 recorder. Now, prior to purchasing this Zoom F6 here, I've recorded most of my audio either in camera or with a Zoom H4n field recorder. Now, the problem that posed is that the preamps on either the camera, like the Blackmagic Pocket 4K here, or the Zoom H4n are not that great. They're not very good preamps, and the Zoom F6 provides those strong preamps that I need when filming cars, when recording interviews, whatever it may be. The Zoom F6 has delivered exactly what I need in terms of preamps. Now, the F6 features 6 XLR inputs and can run on 2 AA batteries or a Sony NPF battery. But the biggest feature of the Zoom F6 is the fact that it has 32-bit float audio recording. Now, what that means is that your audio recording, your files, are essentially raw audio. Now, the reason for that is that if you were to accidentally clip, for instance, if I were to yell into the microphone right now, or if I were to just set the gain levels a little bit too high, you would essentially be able to recover that audio in the waveform within something like Adobe Audition or any other, audio programs. So a good example of where 32-bit float audio would come in handy is if you're filming at a racetrack, you're filming an interview, and unfortunately someone decides that they want to be a cool guy and drive by and rev their engine when they see that you're recording an interview. So that seems to happen all the time. But thankfully, the 32-bit float audio will help you to recover any sort of clipped audio. Now, if you want to learn more about the Zoom F6, I highly recommend you check out the review from Curtis Judd, as well as the review from Gerald Undone. So I'm going to put a link to both of those videos down in the description below. Now, the next piece of gear is something that I never thought I'd love this much until I picked it up to use with my stills camera, and that is the Sigma 24-70 art lens. Now, this is a still lens, however, sometimes I do use it when using my Blackmagic Pocket 4K or my Panasonic Lumix GH5S. However, more often than not, this lens is living on my Sony a7 III when I'm doing still photography. Now, this lens is exceptionally sharp, and I think that it provides a very nice look for still photography when using the a7 III. Now, this unfortunately does have a telescoping zoom barrel, so it makes it hard to balance on a gimbal and almost impossible because it'll completely shift the weight. However, the focal length of 24 to 70 millimeters provides an excellent amount of coverage for shooting automotive photography. It does have onboard optical stabilization, so if you are using it with a handheld setup, you will have the nice optical stabilization of the lens. And overall, as you guys may know, I love Sigma lenses. They are built incredibly well and they are a very good value. And just like I said, this has become a staple in my automotive photography kit. And pretty much we're gonna segue into the next piece of gear, and that is something that I use on all of my lenses, and that is the MoVI Pro Defender lens caps. Now, one thing I absolutely hate about photo lenses and some cinema lenses is that they come with these pinch caps. I really can't stand them. In fact, you're gonna see here that I'm using an SLR Magic pinch cap on a Sigma lens. That's for illustration purposes. Let me get that out of here. I lost the lens cap to the Sigma pretty early on, like within a week or two of owning the lens. So instead of buying another replacement, I simply bought the MoVI Pro Defender lens caps. Now, these are just generic lens caps from MoVI Pro that have a hard top, as you can see here, which protects the lens, but it has rubber sides, which allows you to place it on various different lens sizes. So you simply attach it, boom, and it stretches thanks to the rubber sides, and you have a very, very stable protective cap. And I'm pulling on it right now and it's not coming off. So anytime it's in my camera bag or camera case, this sucker is not going anywhere. So put that off to the side here, and we're gonna move on to the next piece of gear. And that is something that I was a little skeptical about buying because it is so affordable and it is so cheap, and that is the Tilta Nucleus Nano follow focus system. Now, real quick, I don't have the motor because that is being used at the moment somewhere else, but basically this is a really nice follow focus system. And this comes with the focus motor, of course, and also this control wheel. And for the money, it is pretty affordable and it is pretty precise and very reliable. I use it on all of my automotive shoots when I'm doing car-to-car footage. Basically, anytime I am using a gimbal, I am using the Tilta Nucleus Nano to pull focus. Whether I have someone pulling focus for me or I've got it attached to the gimbal myself, the Tilta Nucleus Nano is my go-to for focus pulling. And overall, it is a very affordable piece of gear. Now, the next piece of gear we're gonna talk about is something that I wish I learned about much sooner, and that is the MoVI Pro ND-PL filter. Now, what this filter does is it combines a polarizer filter, which is very, very useful when shooting automotive photography or video, with an ND filter. So you simply have a solid ND filter, and that is the 64 right here. I have the ND64PL, and you simply rotate your filter here and you are adjusting the PL, so your polarizer, your CPL. This has become an essential piece of gear in my kit, and anytime I'm shooting automotive photography, this is in my camera bag. So overall, it's something I wish I had learned about sooner, and it has become incredibly invaluable. Now, a lot of people ask me which microphone I use on my camera when filming motorsports. And that is simply the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. Now, this is the second generation of the legendary VideoMic Pro. And like I said, this is the Plus version, which brings a couple of added features to the table. One of those features is that it has an integrated lithium-ion battery, which you charge via USB-C port. You could also power the microphone via the camera, depending on the camera itself, which pretty much makes this microphone never run out of battery. I don't think I've ever had to charge this thing. One feature that I love about this microphone is that it has a safety channel. When filming motorsports, it's vital that you capture clean audio, but sometimes you're going to have a car that is unexpectedly loud. So having that safety channel allows you to capture audio that is not clipping. So if a car flies by and you don't expect it to be as loud as it is, your main channel will clip, but you will have a safety channel, which is incredibly vital. It also has 3-stage gain control, either in +20, -10, or the 0 mode. So this helps to add a little bit of added boost to cameras with poor preamps or average, below average preamps. For instance, like the Pocket 4K here. If you are filming outdoors, I highly recommend that you get the Dead Cat. You simply slide it on to the microphone, and you have protection against the wind. So it is vital that if you're filming outdoors that you do have the Dead Cat. Now, if you've been watching my channel for some time or you follow me on social media, you know that I do a lot of car rigging with suction cups. Whether it's a 9 Solutions, Avenger, Manfrotto, or Matthews, I have all sorts of different suction cups that I use to rig up cameras to vehicles. But when it comes to smaller setups, like a GoPro, or if I need to mount a microphone to a car, I use the PGYTech triple suction cup mount. And the reason I choose the PGYTech is the simple fact that it is incredibly sturdy and very flexible. When I say flexible, I mean that the suction cups can be angled in multiple different positions thanks to the ball heads that are integrated into the legs. The reason for that is that if you needed to attach the suction cup mount to a body panel of a car that is not completely flat, you can angle your suction cups however you need to. Now, as you guys know, modern cars are a little bit more rounded. There are, various shapes and flares to body panels. So this makes it very, very easy for me to mount it. The next feature of the PGYTech that I like is that it has a friction arm built into the head, which allows me to get almost any angle I need. So you see here, I tighten it down and there is no wobble whatsoever. It's a very sturdy suction cup mount. And I've used various different brands, and so far I've found that the PGYTech is one of the sturdiest when it comes to the friction arm and camera support. Now you'll see here I have a GoPro attached to the mount, and what's great is you could unscrew this like so, and you have a 1/4-20 mount right here. And you see here, this thing already got stuck to it didn't even lock it down and it's stuck. But basically you have a 1/4-20 ball head, which angles any way you want, but you can also switch it to a GoPro mount, which I don't need because I have a 1/4-20 right there. So if I needed to attach a microphone, whatever it may be, which you would do here, or you could use, for instance, a shotgun mic, anything, any sort of microphone. I wouldn't go any heavier, maybe a little bit heavier than a GoPro, something like a smaller DSLR, but then I'd still want a third point of contact. Next up is something that you might have seen in some of my other videos, and that is my camera bag of choice, the Cinebag's CB25 backpack. Now this is the tactical camo edition. I picked this up quite some time ago. It's a special edition, and I don't think you can get the camo version anymore, but it does come in the standard color, which is black and orange and a little bit of white. But what I love about this bag is that it is incredibly rugged. Now, I've had this bag for, I would say, about 3 years now, and it is incredibly sturdy. Like, I'm not gentle with this bag. I toss it on the ground, on the pavement. It's been all over the place. And this fabric, this material has, whatever it is, it's just, it's very like militant, very rugged. It's almost like it's, from the military. But basically this bag has just withstood everything I've thrown at it. You simply have a ton of space in this bag. You have a spot for your laptop, which will zip up here. We have small pouches right up here, which is great for something like business cards if you need it. You also have straps, which I use for my tripod, a smaller tripod if I need to. But you also have a little pocket right here, so if you want to toss a water bottle or something in there. And as you can see, we have multiple different pockets here. We have a big one, deep one on the side, which runs almost the length of the bag, which could fit maybe something like a mini tripod or, like I said, a water bottle or something. Then on the side here, we have 2 medium-sized pockets. In this side, I usually keep like cleaning supplies. I don't really put anything too fragile in these. But we also have some pockets up here, and I keep a poncho in here. Let's try to get it out. Just keep a poncho just in case, and it's not gonna wanna go in. Ugh, get in there. Then we have another one on that side, but we also have a nice top pocket here. And this top pocket will fit, it's pretty deep. It'll fit a camera body if you really want it, but I often keep headphones in there or just any sort of tools. And here we have a top pouch. So I'm just kind of going in depth here. And this top pouch has spots for your pens, has another pouch inside of that, and it has another pouch behind that. So it's like pouches in pouches. And so we've got all these different pouches. And then we have the camera bag part, and we're gonna be showing you guys this on kind of B-roll, but basically you have this nice padded strap which has, or padded back, which has 2 additional pockets right here, and the padding on this is really thick. So no matter how much I load this bag up, it is just always very comfortable because of this padded back. And also the straps, you can see here, the straps or the shoulder straps are very, very padded, and it's just overall just a really, really comfortable bag to use. Now, as you can see here, I don't have all of the dividers put in, but it comes with multiple dividers. And in this case, I was using a camera that already had a lens attached, so I just put it in there, and I've got ample storage space for multiple camera bodies. If I'm using a Z-Cam without a lens attached, I could fit 3 camera bodies in here, a few lenses, anything else I really need, microphones. And it also fits very nicely for airplane overhead storage. So I use this oftentimes when I am traveling, or if I need to just run something lightweight and I don't really need to bring a camera case. So overall, I absolutely love the CB25 camera bag. And a little feature, you could personalize by patches and stuff. So I picked up these little patches. I'm a big fan of the Punisher, and I'm American, so I'll support my country. Yeah, basically the CB25. Now, last but not least is what I consider the workhorse of the gimbal industry, and that is the FreeFly MoVI Pro. Now, after using the Ronin MX, the Ronin S, and several other gimbals on the market, I came to decide on buying the MoVI Pro for the simple fact that it is known as one of the most reliable gimbals on the market today. Now, yes, this is what would be considered a premium for most people, but when it comes to using something that you're going to need to rely on, I feel that spending the extra bit of money on a quality product, when it comes to camera gear at least, is definitely essential. Now, I've been using this gimbal for quite some time. I use it whether it's handheld like this on the Ring, but I also use it for car-to-car footage. So oftentimes you're gonna see this gimbal on the back of my camera vehicle filming basically remotely. And one thing that I love about the MoVI Pro is that it packs a lot of punch for the weight. And for a gimbal this size, it can support camera packages, whether it's just a DSLR and a lens, or a mid-range camera like a Z-Cam here, or a heavier duty camera system like an Ursa Mini Pro with a big honky lens. If you need to balance a heavier camera, you could use something like the Cinemil dovetail plate, which I have right here. You could simply screw in some counterweights, which will allow you to use a heavier lens setup or even a heavier body. So this has become, to me, one of the most vital pieces of equipment when it comes to filming cars. So I will often use it, like I said, on a car rig, or I'll use it on the handheld setup here, but overall it is an incredibly powerful piece of gear. I have a few accessories here, like I mentioned, the Cinemil dovetail plate, but I also have the MoVI Pro Pop and Lock, which allows me to add accessories such as this Mars 300 transmitter. I'm not gonna do it now because it's balanced and on, but I simply slide that on, and I've got a wireless transmitter. Here I've got some small rig clamps, which allow me to add friction arms. So here I've got a Manfrotto friction arm with a Manfrotto phone holder, which is great for the phone holder. It's great because I can control the camera from the phone holder. Also, you'll see here I've got the Tilta Nucleus Nano motor, which I mentioned earlier, and that allows me to pull focus from the gimbal, and I could attach it via one of these clamps from Small Rig, simply right here, and then when I'm operating, I simply am controlling. And I also have a cable that runs from the Nano to the camera. It's a LAN-C cable, which allows me to hit record here on the wheel. So overall, like I said, this is what I consider the workhorse of the gimbal industry. It's lightweight and packs quite a punch, especially when compared to the Ronin 2. That's something that I looked at, and I found that the Ronin 2 was going to be impossible for me to solo operate, especially without an easy rig. With this, I know that I could add a heavier camera package if needed, if I need to, keep it slim, keep it lightweight. If I needed to just go with just a DSLR and a small lens, I could do that. And I know that I am going to get the customer service that FreeFly supports. There are a few downsides to this gimbal. For instance, it is a little bit antiquated when it comes to the balance system. You have these latches, which most of you are probably very used to. So you've got your top plate, which is essential. You've got your latches here on the sides, in the middle, and on the bottom. and you have all your different axes that you have to balance. You also have latches here for your pan, whereas something like the Ronin 2, or most recently the Ronin RS2, you have dials which allow you to fine tune your adjustments. Personally, I would love to have that on this gimbal, but it is an older gimbal now. It's been out for a few years, and I think that when FreeFly comes out with something new, they are going to introduce the dials, which I think is becoming a standard when it comes to gimbals. Another feature that I do wish they would improve upon, and I believe they are, is the batteries. The batteries on the MoVI Pro are not the greatest. They don't last that long. However, you can purchase the TB50 battery adapters from Ignite Digi, which I do plan on doing soon once I pick up some other parts. But basically that allows you to use the TB50 batteries from DJI on your MoVI Pro. And that is something that I do plan on purchasing soon. But overall, you have a really cool and welcome monitor feature here. Like, you can attach a monitor simply. In fact, you may not be able to see it, but basically you attach your monitor to this little peg, and you simply attach the peg into the handle here and tighten it down, and you can put your monitor up there. I prefer having my monitor on a friction arm, especially when filming low angles. I know that I could just twist and move the friction arm as needed. But overall, it is just like I said, a very, very sturdy and very rugged gimbal that packs quite a punch. So guys, with that being said, those are just a little bit of camera gear, some pieces that I just simply can't live without. But I mean, I probably could live without them, but I really don't want to. If you guys found this video interesting and you enjoyed it, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, give it a like, drop a comment below with what gear you guys can't live without, and I'd love to talk about it. In fact, speaking of talking about it, I'd like to invite you guys to join the Driven Films Discord channel. That's where we talk about all sorts of camera gear, filmmaking techniques, and we just overall hang out. So I'd love to have you guys there. You could find a link to the Discord channel in the description below. And of course, guys, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Until next time, take care.